Luke, always nice to come down and have these chats with you.
Johnny, pleasure to have these chats with you every couple of weeks, mate. You're the only person I know that puts up with me talking about sport, which is great. Better than a girlfriend, in some ways.
Good week, bad week for English sport. Start off with the bad, I think, first. Rugby. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we spoke about Martin Johnson and how he was going to save the England squad. What's gone wrong?
I wrote in my blog, actually, I analysed quite a lot about the first game, the England victory of the Pacific Islanders, what they needed to do to conduct their games. And it was in the contact area, and it was in the backs. It's decisiveness, decision-making, and it's aggression. And honestly, it comes down to that. We are still doing that passive defending where we're waiting for the opposition to come onto us, tackling them over our shoulders. It means you're giving them 3 or 4 yards, which allows them to be constantly going forward for their forwards. That's a lot easier than running backwards. And it's a nightmare. You watch the Aussies, every hit they were making, and against the Kiwis and the South Africans, you'll see it more. They're trying to knock us backwards, turn the ball over, and it's turning defence into attack. We need to learn to do that. But yeah, there are major problems in the back line at the moment. It is a new back line. And, things don't click overnight. But I'm a bit worried about Cipriani not performing. Danny Kerr looks very good, but he keeps taking about 3 or 4 strides when he picks the ball up from the ruck, sideways before he passes it, which is setting the whole back line going laterally instead of forward. And everyone knows rugby's simple. Run straight, tackle hard, pass backwards. And you've got to look at the key decision makers. You've got to look at Cipriani. Flutie, I think, in the last 10 minutes against Australia, played like his life depended on it. Why weren't the players doing that in the first 70? I've still got confidence, and I think Johnson, again, it's like Peterson, he's saying all the right stuff. He's saying these kind of things, and he knows where we have to address it. I just would like to see us almost go back at this stage, even if it was kind of like to where we were in the World Cup, where, okay, we might not have the flair, but at least we were playing with passion and heart. And I'm not saying that the England players aren't. It's very easy to sit here and criticise them, when they're losing to Australia, one of the best teams in the world. But you do feel that there's something missing from that side at the moment. Hopefully, Johnson will kind of find what it is.
But there's also been some good news. Last night, England were victorious in Berlin against Germany. But what do we know today that we didn't know yesterday about this England squad?
Firstly, that Fabio Capello is one of the best things to ever happen to the England national side. To see guys last night, fringe players who have never really established themselves internationally before. You look at Stuart Downing, Michael Carrick. I thought Jermaine Defoe and Gabby Agbonlahor had great games. Ashley Young looked lively when he came on. Sean Wright Phillips. To play like they did in Berlin, where England haven't won since 1971, against a pretty much full-strength German side, was amazing. All credit to the manager. He's got them playing with no fear. He's got them playing with confidence. And he's got them playing with pride for that national shirt. The closing down, the work ethic, everything was amazing. And it was what, as a fan, you want your representing, players who are representing your country to do. The Germans did not him. It was such a thrill to watch them panic under pressure, not being able to string stuff together. Yeah, the goal was horrible, but the fact that England didn't panic, didn't revert to their old kind of kick the ball long and just stand there, and actually had the confidence and belief to keep to their game plan and go on and win it was amazing. I thought John Terry was spectacular as always, as a captain. I thought Upson, who has looked awful in the past, was amazing. And yeah, I think that if you're an England fan, you should wake up this morning with a big smile on your face, because it reminds me very much of when Clive Woodward took over the England rugby team in 1997. It's going to take time, but Capello is putting in place the fundamentals that I think by 2010 will make us an amazing side.
That's England teams covered for this week, Luke, but I know you've got a lot of sporting angst in there, usually in rant form, so what's in the Wilkins rant locker this week? My
rant locker this week is, we talked about Calzaghe and his amazing win 2 weeks ago. This week it's actually about Hatton. Boxing, absolutely love. I think a lot of people do. And Ricky Hatton is one of those guys who's always been a hero in this country because, he is incredibly brave, he can hit like a train, and he's never run away from a fight, The problem is when he went up against Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's one of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers the world's ever seen. That wasn't enough. You can be as brave as you like, and he kept going forward, he kept hitting in, but against an amazing boxer, you're going to get taken apart. And it's kind of funny. It reminds me of Rocky 3, what's happened. He's now obviously employed Floyd Mayweather Sr., kind of like Apollo in Rocky 3. He's taken Rocky, just a bruiser, and he's trying to turn him into a boxer. I mean, Floyd Mayweather Sr. is one of the best defensive coaches in the world. And the stuff he's got Ricky Hatton doing, unbelievable. The ducking, the diving, the movement, as well as still delivering those punches, but from different angles, I think could be very interesting. I think it'll either go 2 ways. One, because Malik Nally, that guy he's fighting, is one of the best guys in division as well. But it will go one of two ways. Either it will be an amazing success. Hatton will go in there and will tear him to pieces and will stake his claim for either a rematch against Mayweather or will dominate, the division now for the next few years again, which I think he is good enough to do. Or it'll all go to pot. He's going to go in there, get hit hard, and he'll forget what he's doing, turn back to the slugger, and it'll still be an exciting fight. So I really, really hope, and, the sounds coming out of the Hatton camp are that he's in the shape of his life, which is something that in the past you could never accuse him, for being, a coward or anything else, but he's never, sometimes his training regime hasn't been great. But he looks wicked, and I think that the nation should get behind him. It's the MGM Grand, Las Vegas, Saturday night. It's going to be immense, and, with the haymaker, David Hay last week winning, Calzaghe winning, British boxing is in a complete ascendancy, as we saw in the Olympics as well. It's doing really well. I think we should all get behind him, and I can't wait for the fight. And hopefully, when we next chat, we'll be sitting there saying how just like Rocky 3 it was. And I'd love to get a picture of him and Floyd Mayweather Sr. running along the beach together, getting stronger, a la Rocky 3. That's not just some sick personal fantasy of mine. It is in a film. But yeah, I can't wait. Go Hatton.